What's up guys, welcome to another video. Mark here from Careful Mining Lab, and in today's video, as you saw in the description, we're going to be doing the conversion of the Whatsminer M50 from air-cooled to water-cooled, and in the process we're going to show you all the components you need to achieve this conversion, as well as show you some differences between converting an Whatsminer S19 and the M50. There are quite a bit of differences, so to keep this short, let's go ahead and show you all the components you need first, and then we go from there. All right, so here are all the components you need to achieve this conversion. First of all, obviously we need the miner. This is an M50. This is a 118 terahash, 28 watts per terahash power consumption. And here we have the conversion kit. As you can see here, it comes with a lot of components. So here basically you have the water blocks that will be installed on the hash board, replacing the original heatsink. Here we have these collectors for inlet and outlet. This is a water pipe, water hose for liquid recirculation. We have thermal paste here, and we have the cover, the back cover. So after you remove the fan, you'll be replacing it by a cover. And here we have a dissipation heat dry cooler or radiator, if you want to call it. And this is rated at 8 kilowatt heat dissipation capacity, so it can handle up to 2 miners on this size. But we have, let's say, a hydro miner that is rated at more than 200, let's say 200 terahash, so it could be used only for 1 unit. And if you're planning to convert a lot of these, you can check on the description. I will leave a link for a video that we have on the hydro cabinet that can hold up to 20 units. Okay, so let's go ahead, and first of all, we need to remove the hash boards from the miner and put them on the table, and I show you guys how to replace the heat sinks, remove them, and replace them with the water blocks. I will do one hash board, and you can do the same to all of the hash boards, and we go from there. All right, so to remove the hash boards, what you need to do is, first of all, you need to remove this cover which holds the control board. And once you're done with that, first of all, we need to disconnect. This is the power plug for the rear fan, and then we're going to be removing this this cover which holds the control board. The control board has only one wire that is going to the hash boards here. We're going to remove it, and then we can just disassemble the whole thing and remove all the hash boards. All right, as you can see here, the top plugs that I was talking about, this is the data cable that is connecting the power supply to the control board, and also we have another wire here, as you can see here. So we just unplug this, and after unplugging this cable, you're good to go. So as you can see, now we have access to the hash boards here. This is the connection to the power supply, so this is really easy. All you need is a screwdriver, and you can remove the whole thing. I'm gonna go ahead first and remove the fan, so it will give me access to the hash boards. Okay, so already removed the rear fan. This part here, which is connecting the data cables from the control board to the 3 boards. Just when we remove this, just be careful because it's very fragile. So when you remove it, actually removing it will be easy, but when you put it back, just be careful with it. So you have 2 screws here that you have to remove. I will show you in a minute how to remove it. This is easy, just have to take it slowly so don't damage anything. As you can see, this is a brand new miner, never run, so it's out of the box. So try to keep it as new as possible. So here you go. As you can see here, I already removed it without damaging it. The reason what I was saying, you have to be careful because the connections here these pins are really thin, and it's easy to damage them. So when you remove it, it will be easy, but when you put it back, you have to be careful. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove the hash boards and give you a quick look. Okay, as you can see here, you can just slide out the hash boards out of the frame, and that's it. So here you have hash boards. I will give you a little bit of explanation what's the difference between these and the one used on the Whatsminer, and the different ways they use for the different techniques, an approach they use for dissipating heat. Okay, so here we have the hashboard. The difference between these and the ones on the Antminer S19, the only difference is, as you can see here, the hashboard has two different sinks. So the larger heatsink is sitting on this side, but actually the chips are located on this side of the hashboard. So it's different to the Antminer, where the larger heatsink is sitting directly on the head, you know, on the chips to dissipate heat. But the way they do it on these miners is totally different. Keep in mind that these hashboards and the miner in general has 3 different sensors to control the temperature. So the first sensor is for chip temperature, the second is for the board, for the hashboard sensor, and actually that's the temperature you will see on the interface of the miner, which is the hashboard temperature, not the chip temperature. And the third sensor is located here on the control board, which is reporting the environment temperature. So the miner will adjust, you know, the frequency as well as the voltage according to the temperatures these sensors are reporting. So the good thing about this is, as we are not going to be dealing with you know, the chip side, but we still have to remove all this side to get access to this side. The good thing is you don't have to apply the thermal paste, which we have here. We have the thermal paste here. You don't have to apply it on each chip. So on this side, because it's flat, what we're gonna do is you can just apply the thermal paste and spread it all over the thing and place your water block. And since this miner is brand new, I'm pretty sure I can see some of the paste is still here. This is still fresh. So for my case, I don't think I don't need to add any of this thermal paste. But in case of an old miner, means that you know, the thermal paste will get will get hard, and you have to remove it and replace it with a fresh one. But on my case, on this case, I don't think I need to add anything. I would just remove this one and place the water block on using the existing thermal paste. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and remove this side, remove the other side, and show you the hashboard without the heat sinks. Alright, as you can see, I already removed all the screws, so the only thing that I need to do right now is to pop out these heat sinks from the chips, because there is a thermal paste on top of it. Actually, on this side I don't use thermal paste. As you can see, this is the thermal paste they use on this side. Actually, on the other models of the Whatsminer, they usually don't use the thermal paste, but they use a thermal pad. But on this model, as you can see, they're using a thermal paste. So remove this side, and now we'll remove the other side. As you can see, really easy. As I said, this is brand new, so it may be difficult to remove them. Maybe you need more time to remove them if you're trying to convert a used miner. This is the side that has the chips, but for us, the side we are interested in is this side that has the larger heatsink. We will be replacing this side, and after, to remove the other side, we have 2 screws here that we need to remove. This is holding the back side of the heatsink on the back side to the hashboard. Once you remove these 2, again, because the other side also has thermal paste, so it might be holding the, as you can see, it might be holding the heatsink very firmly. So to pop up this, we'll find the right spot and try to remove the heatsink. Okay, so I need something sharper than this, and I think the best way is to go from this side, because this is all metal, so there's nothing to damage here. Just need to get something sharper here underneath this this side and pop up the heatsink. Alright, so I successfully removed the hashboard from the heatsink, as you can see. So basically, this is gonna be removed and will be replaced with a water block. And as you can see here, this is how this is the technique that, you know, the Whatsminer is using to you know, dissipate heat from the chips and the hash board as well. So what we need here is, as you can see, this is, as I said earlier, this is a brand new miner. So as you can see, the thermal paste is still fresh and can be reused. So what I can do is I can either add some thermal paste on the water block, or I can just clean this one and put it back there, because it's still actually it's still soft, and I can reuse it. But just make sure that you put enough thermal paste so you don't run into overheating issues because of that. So what we need to do now is bring one of these water blocks. Remember, this side, the piping will be going to the opposite side of the power supply. The reason we do that is because we don't want to, you know, just in case if you have a water leak or something, so you don't run directly into power. So this is actually the problem with Whatsminer. So each model has, as you can see, these these holes for the screws. They are different and specific for each model. That's why you cannot use a single water block for all the miners. Even though the size, the hashboard size is the same for the M30 S++, the M50, all of the models, but because of these holes are different on each model, so they have to be fabricated based on the model itself. So what I'm gonna do right here is try to align these holes and put back the two screws that were holding the hashboard itself to the heatsink, and then we're gonna put back these on top of the chips, and then we're done. Alright, so done putting back everything together. As you can see, this is the water block side. We have the inlet outlet on this side, and this is just one more thing I forgot to mention. There exist a lot of kits on the market, so if you're trying to purchase any kit that doesn't have all the holes for all the screws here, don't use it, because some companies, what they're trying to do is they're trying to save time and money. So instead of drilling all these holes and use the same set of screws that is on the original hashboard, what they do is they eliminate most of the holes. So let's say that we'll keep only these, and even the ones in the middle that hold in the hashboard to the back, to the heatsink to the back of the hashboard, they don't even drill them. So, and I believe these screws will be playing a role on transferring heat from from this side to the other side. So if you don't buy one of these, make sure it has the same number of holes on the as the original heatsink. As you can see, we're done putting back the miner together. So I removed the front fan, which will give us access to the inlet outlet water piping, and remove the back one as well, but you can keep the fan in the rear if you want. Now let's go ahead and assemble the dry cooler. Very simple. You need to mount this bracket here, and then we need to mount the pump, attach it to this bracket using these and some piping. So we have the small pipe here, which is 8 millimeters. This will be used to connect this side to the water blocks, and we have this large one, which is 12 millimeters, that will be connecting this to the pump and the dry cooler. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so just finished installing the bracket as well as the water pump. As you can see, very simple. You have this power supply for the pump, which is in the back, so you need to connect it. And here I just cut a small piece from the 12 millimeter pipe, you just measure it and you cut a small piece to connect this outlet, which goes back to the water pump, and then the rest of the 12 millimeter pipe, split it into two. So once one goes from here from the pump, will go back to the miner, and the other one, return pipe, will go back to the bottom here, as you can see. Now what you have to do as well is you need to use the 8 millimeter pipe and cut 6 small pieces like this, about 2 centimeters long, and these will be used to connect these splitters and collectors into the hash boards. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that and connect everything together, fill it with water, start running it just to make sure that there's no water leaks before we start even the machine, and then we can go from there. All right, so done connecting everything together. As you can see, the other side. Now it's time to fill up the pump with the fluid, and the way to do it is using this port. So you can just open this, and we use this bottle to fill up the loop. So add in, then turn it on the water pump, so it runs and until you get it full of water, and then we're gonna do a leak test to see if it's leaking somewhere. So it just fill up the loop with water, as you can see. Basically the water ran through all the piping and the water blocks, so most of the air is out. The only thing that left is the radiator itself. So in order to get all the air out of the system, we have at some point we have to run the pump. But one thing you will never have to do before you fill up your system with water, never ever run your water pump. So at this point we can try and switch it on and off to see. Okay, so as you can see, I will need to add more water, and you do the same, turn on and off the pump until you get all the air out of the system, and from there we can test our machine. So just finished filling up the water loop with water. As you can see, it's running perfect, no problem. So far so good, no water leaks at all. And if you're wondering what kind of water you should use, I will recommend to use a purified water or a coolant, any type of coolant, even the one that I use for cars. That's just the best option for long-term use. In terms of fluid, I've used one bottle, which is 1 liter, and almost half. So it doesn't require a lot of fluid, so it's better to go for something that will work for on the long term, like a coolant. All right, so after installing everything, what we need to do right now is to configure the miner to run without fans. If you have fan spoofers, that's fine. You can just plug your fan spoofers and use the stock's firmware. Or what you can do is use an aftermarket firmware, which I'm gonna use in my video, as I don't have the fan spoofers for this particular miner. So I'm gonna be using Bixbit just so that gives me the option to disable the fan error. Liquid cooling, I'm gonna select that and then save and apply, and hopefully this will work. So the miner will not report the fan error, so the miner can start mining. So let's go ahead and configure the miner. So the pools are configured here. So the errors I'm getting at right now here are fan in and out detected speed error, and the pool is disabled for 2 seconds. Please check the network or pools configuration. So I'm gonna go ahead and restart the miner, and hopefully that will fix the problem. Okay, so as I expected, so after selecting the liquid cooling option on the firmware, As you can see right now, the hash boards are showing up, and the pool as well. So Whatsminer are known for doing the auto tuning at the startup. So this might take some times before the miner will run on full hash rate. And the way to check that is, as you can see here, up frequency completed. At the moment it's 0, so you have to wait for it to reach 1. That's where the miner will be running at its maximum optimum performance. So this might take a while, so I will just leave it like that, and I will come back after the miner finished auto tuning. So the miner just finished auto tuning, and as you can see here, the up frequency complete is 1, which means now the miner is running at its best hash rate. Temperatures here 48, 49, 47. Just keep in mind, these are not the chip temperatures, okay? These are the hash board temperature. This is what it's shown here. And as you can see here, we have the hash rate. It's running currently at 125 terahash, almost 126 terahash. This is an M50 118 terahash. And as you can see, as the cooling is better, we have a better hash rate without even doing anything. So we're still running on the stock settings. We go to overclock here. Current profile is normal. We can even go to high. We will try that in a moment. But at the moment we're running at the stock profile and a normal profile, and as you can see here, the hash rate is already at 125. Temperatures very stable, 48, 49, 47. So the miner start hashing at full hash rate only like 2 minutes ago. So what I will do is I will keep it running for some times right now. The uptime is 25 minutes, so it took up about 20 minutes for the miner to finalize the auto tuning process. But after that, as you can see here, the efficiency is at 28.5 watts per terahash. The hash board temperature is 48. The environment temperature is 38. And the chip temperature is around 103. The others are quite low, so 67, 70, 74. So far, the miner is running great. I will let it run for at least half hour. Maybe 20 minutes, half hour, just to make sure that everything stays the same. After that, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna step up without messing up with the frequency and the power. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna change the profile from going from normal to high, which should give us at least an extra few terahash. So you can do that as well from here. From here, remote control. So mining control, performance mode. So you can select from here, from high to low to normal. So if I click on high right now, the miner will restart and do the auto tuning again and go. Basically, it's gonna take an extra 20 minutes. So before I do that, I will just let it run for now as it is with a stock profile, and we shall see if the miner is stable. So basically, so far it's running fine. I'm gonna let it run, and we're gonna come back shortly. So the miner has been running for let's see, 1 hour and a half, 1 hour and 32 minutes. Hash rate is still stable, around 125.8, and hash board temperature 53, 53, 51. Environment temperature 33, and so basically the miner is very stable, and the only thing that is still making noise is the fan, as you can hear in the background, the fan of the power supply. But the radiator, the dry cooler itself, doesn't make basically any noise. It's very quiet. All right, so we might try to I might try to push the hash rate even further, increase the frequency, but as I'm running on a stock power supply, as you can see here, so I can lift this limit. So basically what you can do here is you can remove the limits, set the limit of the power, set the power limit here. So let's say we can set it at 3800 watts, and that will be applied. And then also what you can adjust here, this tool actually is very, very useful. You can adjust even the frequency, so you can even push the frequency even further. What you can do here is so up, this is a percentage of the frequency, so let's say we increase it by 15% and we apply, and that should increase the frequency of the miner by 15%. But still, again, we know that these miners will not run on a specific hash frequency or voltage. So what you have to do is you just wait for it, and you will try to upscale the frequency little by little, and compare the power power consumption, and try. So basically, this is an auto tuning, so the miner will auto tune itself to give you the best hash rate for the best power consumption. Just to give you a quick look before we end this video, as you can see, the miner is sitting here, and the radiator is sitting here. So you can see we have a window there, so the heat doesn't accumulate within the room. And the water is still running. No water leaks, nothing. So far so good. Right, so after pushing a little bit the hash rate, as you can see, it's at 130 terahash. Efficiency is around 29.1, which is not far away from the 28.5 we got earlier with the stock setting. Temperatures are still fine, 52, 53, 51, and miner has been running for 9 minutes. As you can see right now, the frequency went from 620 to 640 in total. That's why we gained about 5 terahash. I think we're reaching the limit of the power supply. As you can see here, we're almost at the limit, so it's useless to push this miner further, because you're gonna just get a lot of errors, and we're gonna be pushing the limit of how much the power supply can really supply power to the miner. So I think if we're gonna take it anywhere further from this, above this, we need to add an extra power supply. But I think with this setting, which is not far away from the original efficiency, at 130 we gained about that's 12 terahash, and also what we gained, it's actually the quietness of the miner. The miner is still running in the background, but you can barely hear it. It's in the next room, but still you can't hear it, because if it was running on air cooling, then it's gonna be just too noisy to even talk. All right, I think we're gonna stop it here, and we'll call it a day. All right, guys, so this is it for today. I think we already have done a lot with the conversion kit. So basically we eliminate a lot of noise that the miner was making from the factory. So basically right now I'm taking a video, and the miner is running in the background. It's in the next room, but you can barely hear it, which is a very, very impressive thing to do with just few blocks of aluminum and some radiator to cool the water. And also what we did is we gained a decent amount of hash rate, which is 12 terahash, and even the efficiency of the miner wasn't affected too much. Went from 28.5 to 29.1, which isn't too much difference actually. And I think we're gonna stop the video here for today. And if you know, pushing the miner any further in terms of overclocking and hash rate will require an extra power supply, because we're already hitting the limit of the stock power supply. So I think we're gonna stop the video today here. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up for support. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do subscribe to the channel and stay tuned, and I will see you guys in the next video.